Hi everyone, welcome back to English Achieve. Today I want to share something that will completely change the way you look at life. Have you ever faced a problem that seemed too big, too heavy, or too complicated to solve? Maybe you felt stuck, maybe you felt hopeless, or maybe you just didn't know where to start. My dear friend, I want you to know this truth. Every problem has a solution. No matter how big it looks, no matter how small you feel, you have the power to solve anything. You just need the right mindset, the right tools, and the right steps. And today, I will give you 5 powerful hacks that will help you tackle any problem in your life. Before we dive into the hacks, let me ask you something interesting. Did you know that most problems are not actually as big as we think? The real challenge is not the problem itself, but how our mind reacts to it. Think about it. 2 people can face the same problem, but one feels destroyed while the other feels challenged and motivated. Why? Because the second person has learned how to control the way they see the problem. And that's exactly what you will learn today. So stay with me until the end, because these hacks can change the way you live forever. Hack 1. Break the problem into small pieces. When you see a mountain standing tall in front of you, it looks impossible to climb. Your eyes see the size, and your mind immediately feels fear. But here's the truth. No one climbs a mountain in one giant step. People climb it slowly, step by step, with patience and determination. The mountain itself does not change, but the way you face it decides whether you will stand still at the bottom or eventually reach the top. In the same way, when you face a big problem in life, you cannot and should not try to solve it all at once. If you try to carry the full weight of the problem in one moment, it will crush you. The key is to break it into smaller, manageable parts. Once you do this, the problem begins to shrink in your mind. It no longer feels like an enemy too strong to fight. Instead, it becomes a challenge you can handle, one piece at a time. Think about how your mind works when you face something overwhelming. The moment you see the full size of the problem, your brain starts to panic. It tells you, "This is too much. You can't do this. You're not strong enough." But in reality, the problem is not impossible. It is just too big for your mind to hold all at once. By breaking it into small steps, you trick your brain into cooperation. Your mind feels safer, calmer, and more focused when it sees smaller pieces instead of one giant challenge. This is why breaking a problem into small pieces is not only a strategy, it is a way to control your own psychology. Let's take an example of money. Imagine you have a big bill to pay, and the number looks frightening. If you keep staring at the total amount, you will feel hopeless. Stress will build up, and instead of acting, you may freeze. But if you stop and ask yourself, "What is the first small step I can take today?" the picture changes. Maybe today you can save a little. Maybe you can cut an unnecessary expense. Maybe you can earn a small extra income from a simple task. Each action looks small, but each action matters. Every drop of water fills the bucket. Every coin fills the jar. Day by day, step by step, the small pieces add up to solve the big problem. You no longer feel trapped because you see progress. And progress is power. This idea works not only for money problems, but also for studies, work, relationships, health, and even personal dreams. Many students feel overwhelmed when they see a full book or a long exam syllabus. They think, "I will never finish this." But when they break it down into smaller parts, like reading 2 pages today, 10 pages tomorrow, or one chapter per week, suddenly the impossible looks possible. The same applies to work. If you have a big project to finish, don't try to imagine completing it all at once. Instead, divide it into small tasks. Finish one task today, another tomorrow. Each small task completed brings you closer to the goal. Even in relationships, if you face a conflict, instead of trying to fix everything in one conversation, focus on solving one issue at a time. Step by step, the relationship heals and grows stronger. Now let's also look at health. Suppose someone wants to lose a lot of weight or build strong muscles. If they only think about the final goal, they will feel discouraged. The distance between where they are and where they want to be will look too wide. But if they say, "Today I will drink more water. Today I will walk for 20 minutes. Today I will eat one healthy meal," then change begins. Small daily actions build into a healthy lifestyle. One day they look back and realize that the small steps brought them to the big result. It didn't happen overnight, but it happened surely and steadily. And yes, this hack is also true for learning English. Many learners feel frustrated because they want to speak perfect English quickly. They dream of speaking fluently tomorrow, but when they fail to do so, they feel discouraged and give up. But if they change their approach and break it into small steps, progress becomes exciting. Imagine saying to yourself, "Today I will learn 5 new words. Tomorrow I will practice one sentence. This week I will listen to 5 minutes of English every day." These are small steps, but they are powerful. Over time, those steps grow into confidence and fluency. Problems are not solved in one jump. Skills are not built in one day. But step by step, you move forward. Another important reason to break problems into smaller parts is motivation. Big goals or big problems often kill motivation because they look too far away. But small steps give you quick wins. Every time you complete one step, you feel a sense of achievement. This small success gives you energy to continue. Your brain releases positive emotions when you succeed, even in something small. This keeps you motivated to continue. It is like climbing stairs. If the staircase is very tall, you may feel tired just looking at it. But if you take it one step at a time, soon you find yourself much higher than you expected. You never noticed how high you climbed because you focused only on the next step. Let's take another example. Imagine someone wants to write a book. If they think about writing 300 pages, they may never start. The task feels too big. But if they break it into small steps, 1 page a day or even half a page, they will finish it. In 1 year, they will have 365 pages. That is a book. The same principle applies to all dreams and all problems. When you break it down, you not only make it possible, you also make it enjoyable. Another hidden benefit of breaking problems into pieces is clarity. When you divide a big challenge into smaller tasks, you discover that not all parts are equally difficult. Some parts are easier than you thought, some require more effort, and only a few are truly challenging. This clear vision removes fear. Fear lives in the unknown, but once you see the pieces, the unknown disappears. You now face something real, something specific, something that can be solved. You no longer fight a shadow. You fight something you can touch and handle. So remember this, my dear friend. Life will always give you mountains to climb. You cannot remove the mountains, but you can decide how to climb them. Break the mountain into steps. Break the problem into pieces. Do not carry the whole weight in one day. Carry a little each day. Soon, what looked impossible will become possible. The mountain will no longer scare you because you will already be on the way to the top. Problems are not solved in one jump. They are solved step by step, piece by piece, moment by moment. And when you learn this hack, no problem will ever look too big again. Every small piece is a victory, and all victories together will make you unstoppable. Hack 2. Change the way you look at the problem. Do you remember the story of David and Goliath? Everyone thought Goliath was too big to fight. He looked like an unbeatable giant, too strong, too powerful, and too dangerous. But David thought differently. He looked at Goliath and thought, "He is too big to miss." The same giant, but two very different ways of looking. That, my friend, is the secret. Your perspective decides your strength. The way you see a problem determines whether it will crush you or whether it will build you. When you face a problem, you can look at it as a wall that blocks you, or you can look at it as a door that opens to new opportunities. The choice is always yours. Many people believe that problems are punishments. They think life is unfair and they ask, "Why me?" But problems are not punishments. They are teachers in disguise. Every problem carries a lesson inside it. It comes into your life not to destroy you, but to shape you, to train you, and to make you stronger. If you run away from problems, you miss the lesson, and the problem usually returns in another form. But if you face the problem, you learn, you grow, and you transform into someone wiser and stronger than before. Think of a seed. When it is placed in the soil, it must push through darkness before it can grow into the light. The soil feels heavy, the journey feels hard, but the pressure is necessary for the seed to become a tree. Problems in your life are the soil. They may feel heavy, but they are the very thing that helps you rise. If you see them as punishment, you will stay buried. But if you see them as preparation, you will push upward and grow tall. For example, when someone loses a job, at first it feels like the end. They feel broken and hopeless. But if they change their perspective, they might see that losing the job is not only a problem, but also a hidden opportunity. Maybe it is a chance to build a new skill, start a fresh career, or even open a business of their own. Many successful people will tell you that their greatest achievements began with what looked like a terrible problem. The same goes for students who fail an exam. At first, failure feels painful. But if you change the way you look at it, failure becomes a chance to learn better, to study smarter, and to become more disciplined. Problems are never the end. They are often the beginning of something new. Perspective is powerful because it changes how your mind and body react. Imagine two people stuck in traffic. One gets angry, frustrated, and stressed. They complain, they honk the horn, and they arrive feeling tired and negative. The other person, in the same traffic, uses the time to listen to an audiobook, reflect on their goals, or simply breathe and relax. The traffic is the same, but their perspective creates two very different experiences. The same principle applies to every problem. If you see it as the end of the world, you will feel weak. But if you see it as a lesson or a new opportunity, you will feel strong and hopeful. Here's another way to think about it. Problems are like weights in the gym. At first, they feel heavy and uncomfortable. But the more you lift them, the stronger you become. If you see the weight as pain, you will give up. If you see the weight as training, you will push through and grow muscles. In life, problems are those weights. They test you, they stretch you, and they help you grow. It is not the problem itself, but your perspective that decides whether you will grow weaker or stronger. Let's also apply this to learning English. Many learners look at their mistakes as problems. They feel embarrassed when they mispronounce a word or use the wrong grammar. They think, I am failing. I will never get this right. But if you change your perspective, mistakes are not problems at all. They are teachers. Every mistake shows you what to improve. Every mistake is a lesson that takes you one step closer to fluency. When you see mistakes as teachers, you no longer fear them. You welcome them because they are proof that you are learning. Without mistakes, there is no growth. Changing perspective also reduces fear. Fear grows when we see something as bigger than it is. But when you change the way you look at the problem, fear shrinks. For example, public speaking scares many people. They see it as a dangerous moment where everyone will judge them. But if they change perspective and see it as a chance to share knowledge, inspire others, or practice a useful skill, the fear weakens. The situation is the same, but the perspective changes everything. Even in relationships, perspective is everything. Imagine two people having a disagreement. One person sees it as proof that the relationship is failing. The other sees it as an opportunity to understand each other better and grow closer. The disagreement is the same, but the perspective determines the outcome. If you choose a positive perspective, the problem becomes a bridge rather than a wall. Here's a simple exercise you can try the next time you face a problem. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" This small shift in thinking changes your emotional state. Suddenly, the problem feels lighter. Your mind becomes more creative. Solutions that were hidden before start to appear. Problems are not walls to block you. They are doors to guide you. You only need to look at them in the right way. Another exercise is gratitude. When you face a problem, write down 3 things the problem might be teaching you. For example, a financial struggle could be teaching you discipline, patience, and creativity. A health challenge could be teaching you self-care, appreciation for life, and inner strength. Gratitude transforms perspective because it makes you see value in what looks like difficulty. Remember this: life is not about avoiding problems, because that is impossible. Life is about facing problems with the right perspective. The next time you face a challenge, think like David. Don't see the giant as something too big to fight. See it as something too big to miss. Your perspective is your weapon. And with the right perspective, you can turn every problem into a stepping stone toward your growth and success. Hack 3. Control your emotions. First, then solve the problem. Imagine this picture. You are trying to repair a car that is broken down. The engine is not working. The tires are flat. But at the same time, the car is on fire. What should you do first? Should you try to fix the engine? Should you try to pump air into the tires? Of course not. The first thing you must do is stop the fire. Only after the fire is gone can you start repairing the car. The same is true with problems in life. The fire is your emotions. The broken car is your situation. If you don't calm the fire, you cannot fix the situation. When a problem appears in your life, the first thing that happens is not thinking. It is feeling. You may feel fear, anger, sadness, or confusion. These emotions rise quickly, and if you do not manage them, they take control. Think about the last time you were very angry. Could you think clearly? Probably not. Think about the last time you were very afraid. Could you see the whole situation calmly? Probably not. Emotions are powerful, and they can make the problem look bigger than it really is. That's why controlling emotions is the first and most important step in problem solving. There are many ways to calm yourself. One of the simplest is breathing. When you feel overwhelmed, stop everything for a moment. Close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and slowly let it out. Do this several times. Breathing may sound too simple, but it works. It tells your brain that you are safe, and it reduces the fire of emotion. Another way is to move your body. Go for a short walk, stretch your muscles, or do light exercise. Movement changes your energy and clears your head. Writing is another powerful tool. If you feel angry or afraid, write everything in a notebook. Do not worry about grammar, spelling, or style. Just write your feelings as they are. Once they are on paper, they leave your mind, and you can think more clearly. Sometimes talking to someone you trust can also help. A good friend, a family member, or a mentor can listen to you and give you perspective. Many times when you speak your emotions out loud, they lose their power. The problem does not disappear, but your mind becomes lighter. After that, you can return to the problem with calm and focus. Now let's look at what happens if you do not control your emotions first. Many people make problems worse because they act in the heat of the moment. For example, imagine two friends have an argument. One is angry, and he shouts words that are very hurtful. Later, he regrets it, but the damage is already done. The friendship is broken. If he had taken a few minutes to breathe, to calm down, to control his emotions, the conversation could have ended differently. Instead of breaking the friendship, it could have built more understanding. The same is true at work. Imagine you receive negative feedback from your boss. Your emotions rise and you feel insulted. If you react in anger, maybe you shout or quit suddenly. Later you realize it was not wise. But if you had controlled your emotions first, you could have listened carefully, learned from the feedback, and improved yourself. The problem could have become a chance for growth. Controlling emotions is not weakness. In fact, it is one of the strongest things you can do. Anyone can shout when angry. Anyone can cry when stressed. Anyone can panic when afraid. But it takes real strength to remain calm in the storm. A calm mind can see clearly. A calm heart can make better decisions. A calm person can act wisely instead of blindly. Remember this truth. You cannot control what happens outside, but you can always control what happens inside. You cannot stop people from being rude. You cannot stop problems from coming. You cannot stop challenges from appearing. But you can decide how you will respond. You can decide not to let emotions rule you. Once you control the inside, the outside becomes easier to handle. Think about leaders, heroes, or successful people you admire. One thing they all have in common is emotional control. When things go wrong, they do not panic. When people insult them, they do not lose their temper. When challenges come, they remain steady. That is why they succeed. Their emotions do not control them. They control their emotions. You can develop this power too. The next time a problem appears, remember the burning car. First, put out the fire, calm yourself. Then, look at the problem with a clear mind. Ask yourself, what is really happening here? What are my options? What is the best step I can take right now? You will see that with emotions under control, solutions appear more quickly. So, the lesson is simple but powerful. Emotions first, problem second. If you control the fire inside, you can fix anything outside. But if you let the fire burn, no solution will work. Choose calm. Choose clarity. Choose control. Because the person who controls their emotions controls their life. Hack 4. Ask for help and use resources. Many people grow up with the idea that asking for help means weakness. They think, if I ask for help, people will believe I am not strong, not smart, or not capable. But this idea is not true. Asking for help is not weakness. It is wisdom. In fact, some of the strongest and most successful people in history are those who knew when to ask for help. No one in this world succeeds alone. Every great person has mentors, guides, teachers, friends, and supporters. The truth is simple. If you try to fight every battle alone, the road will be heavy and slow. But if you use the strength of others, the journey becomes lighter, faster, and more successful. Think of a child learning to walk. Can the child do it alone? Number. The child needs parents or family members to hold their hand, to guide them, to lift them up when they fall. Asking for help is natural. As children, we all depend on others. But as we grow, society sometimes teaches us that independence means never asking for help. This is a mistake. Independence does not mean isolation. Independence means you take responsibility for your life, but you also have the wisdom to use support when needed. When you face a problem, remember this. There is always someone who has already solved a similar problem. Maybe they can show you a shortcut. Maybe they can give you advice that saves you years of struggle. Maybe they can simply remind you that you are not alone. Asking for help connects you to the experience of others, and this can be the difference between failure and success. Let's take an example. Imagine you are struggling to learn English. You sit with a book, you try, but you feel stuck. Days pass, and you feel discouraged. Now, if you keep struggling alone, the journey will feel endless. But what if you ask for help? You could watch videos online, like the ones we share here at English Achieve. You could join a class and practice with other learners. You could find a study partner or even talk with native speakers. Suddenly, you are not alone in your learning. Each resource adds strength to your journey. You learn faster, you feel supported, and your progress becomes visible. The same is true for other problems. If you are facing financial difficulties, do not hide in silence. Ask for advice from people who understand money. Read books about budgeting, investing, and saving. Watch videos from experts. Join communities where people share financial tips. If you are facing health problems, do not just guess or search endlessly on your own. Go to a doctor, a trainer, or someone who has already overcome the same health issue. Their knowledge can guide you safely. Sometimes, asking for help also means using the resources that already exist around you. Libraries, courses, communities, mentors, and even free information online. All of these are resources. Imagine trying to cross a river. If you jump in and try to swim with no experience, you may drown. But if you ask for help, someone may give you a boat, or they may show you where the bridge is. The river does not change, but your way of crossing it becomes easier. That is the power of asking and using resources. It is also important to remove pride from the equation. Many people let pride stop them from asking for help. They think, if I ask, people will think less of me. But the truth is the opposite. People respect those who are humble enough to learn. People admire those who want to grow. And often, when you ask for help, Others feel happy to give it. Helping someone brings joy. So by asking for help, you are not only solving your problem, you are also giving others the chance to be useful and kind. Think of the greatest leaders in history. Did they succeed alone? Number. They built teams. They had advisors. They listened to experts. They gathered the wisdom of many and used it to create success. In the same way, you do not need to be alone in your struggles. Build your own support system. Create your own circle of knowledge and encouragement. Here is a truth you should always remember. Asking for help does not make you smaller. It makes you smarter. It saves you time, energy, and stress. Instead of spending 10 years making mistakes, you can learn from someone who already spent 10 years finding the answers. Instead of feeling lost, you can feel guided. Instead of wasting energy, you can use it to move forward. So the next time you face a heavy problem, pause and ask yourself, who can help me? What resources are available? Where can I find guidance? Then take action. Send that message, join that group, read that book, watch that video, ask that question. The world is full of knowledge and support. You only need the courage to reach out and take it. Remember, my friend, strength is not in carrying the whole weight alone. Real strength is in knowing when to share the weight, when to accept guidance, and when to use the tools already around you. Problems are not meant to be fought alone. They are meant to be solved together. Hack 5. Focus on what you can control, not what you cannot. This may be the most powerful hack of all, and yet it is the simplest. Many of us live our lives trying to control things that are completely out of our hands. We get stressed, frustrated, and anxious because we think we must fix every situation, every outcome, and every person around us. But the truth is, you cannot control the weather, the economy, or the past. You cannot control other people's thoughts, actions, or decisions. You cannot stop events from happening. Trying to control these things is like trying to hold water in your hands. It slips through no matter how hard you squeeze. The key to real power and real peace is focusing only on what you can control. Your thoughts, your actions, your response, and your attitude. That is your true freedom. That is your real strength. Think about a situation where someone is rude or disrespectful to you. At first, your mind may rush with anger or revenge. You might want to respond immediately, say harsh words, or even hold a grudge. But the truth is, you cannot control their behavior. You cannot make them be kind or polite. However, you can control your own response. You can choose to stay calm. You can choose to walk away. You can choose to answer with kindness. By focusing on what you can control, your own behavior, you transform a situation that feels overwhelming into one where you have power. Your energy is no longer wasted on trying to change the uncontrollable. Instead, it is directed to what is possible. And that is how real change begins. The same principle applies to larger challenges in life. Suppose the economy is bad, jobs are scarce, and opportunities seem limited. You cannot control the economy. You cannot make it change overnight. But you can control what you do in response to it. You can learn new skills. You can prepare for future opportunities. You can save more, spend wisely, and make decisions that protect your future. You can work on yourself and your abilities. The economy will remain outside your control, but your response will allow you to thrive even in challenging times. Focusing on what you can control turns fear into action, helplessness into empowerment. Past events are another area where people often waste energy. Many of us replay painful memories or mistakes, wishing things had been different. We cannot change the past. No matter how much we regret, criticize ourselves, or blame others, the past will remain the past. But we can control what we do with the lessons from the past. We can learn from mistakes. We can forgive ourselves and others. We can take action today to create a better tomorrow. By shifting focus from what is impossible to change to what is possible to influence, we free our minds from unnecessary suffering and gain clarity to move forward. Even small daily situations can teach this principle. Traffic jams, delays, bad weather, or sudden changes can frustrate us. We cannot control these things. We cannot make the rain stop or the road clear instantly. But we can control our mindset. We can decide to listen to a podcast, practice patience, or use the time to think creatively. Suddenly, what felt like a frustrating obstacle becomes a useful moment. Life feels lighter because we are no longer fighting uncontrollable forces. Instead, we are using our energy wisely. Focusing on what you can control also improves relationships. People often try to control how others behave, how they think, or what they feel. This leads to conflict, disappointment, and stress. But when you focus on your own actions and responses, your energy shifts from trying to manipulate others to improving yourself. You can communicate clearly, act with kindness, and set healthy boundaries. Other people may still act unpredictably, but you remain grounded. You are no longer a victim of their choices. You are in charge of your own life. Many successful people apply this principle every day. They understand that they cannot control external events, competitors, or public opinion. What they do control is their work ethic, their preparation, and their attitude. By investing energy in what they can influence, they create opportunities and achieve results. Focusing on controllable actions produces consistent progress, while worrying about uncontrollable factors leads to stagnation and unnecessary stress. Here's a practical way to apply this hack in your daily life. Every morning, ask yourself, what can I control today? Make a list. It could be how you respond to people, how much effort you put into your work, what new skill you practice, or even your attitude toward challenges. Then commit your energy to those things. Watch how life begins to shift. Problems do not disappear, but your ability to handle them improves dramatically. You become calmer, more confident, and more effective. Remember, focusing on what you can control does not mean ignoring challenges. It does not mean avoiding responsibility. It means being strategic with your energy. It means recognizing the boundary between what is possible and what is impossible. It means acting where you have influence and letting go of the rest. When you do this consistently, life becomes lighter, clearer, and more manageable. Your mind is free to create solutions instead of being weighed down by worry. Your energy goes into building, not struggling. Your power grows with every choice you make in the areas you can control. So, my friend, whenever life feels heavy, ask yourself, what is truly mine to control? Focus there. Let go of the rest. You cannot control the past, the weather, the economy, or other people's actions. But you can control your thoughts, your words, your decisions, and your responses. That is your power. That is your freedom. The moment you embrace this truth, stress diminishes, clarity emerges, and real change begins. Life may not be perfect, but you become unstoppable. because you are finally living in your zone of control. Energy is directed, problems become manageable, and you are free to create the life you truly desire. Final words. You can solve anything. My dear friend, life will always bring problems. Challenges, obstacles, and unexpected situations are a natural part of living. But here is the truth. Problems are not here to destroy you. They are here to teach you, to shape you, and to make you stronger. Every problem carries a lesson, and every challenge holds an opportunity. The key is knowing how to approach them, and that is exactly what we have learned together through these 5 powerful hacks. Break every problem into small pieces. Do not let the size of the problem intimidate you. When you take small, steady steps, even the biggest mountains can be climbed. Change the way you look at problems. Remember David and Goliath. Your perspective can turn a giant obstacle into a giant opportunity. Control your emotions first. Calm your mind and heart before making decisions, because a clear mind finds solutions while an emotional mind creates chaos. Ask for help and use resources. You are not alone in this journey, and guidance, support, and knowledge from others will make every path easier to navigate. And finally, focus on what you can control. Let go of what is outside your hands and invest your energy in what you can influence. This is where your power truly lies. If you practice these hacks consistently, no problem will ever feel too overwhelming again. You will notice a transformation in yourself. You will become stronger, wiser, and more confident. Life's challenges will no longer intimidate you. Instead, they will become stepping stones that elevate you higher. And the beauty of this journey is that your growth does not just help you. Every time you solve a problem with strength, wisdom, and grace, you inspire others around you to face their challenges too. Your courage creates a ripple effect of positivity and resilience. So the next time life throws a challenge at you, take a deep breath, smile, and say, I can solve this. Because now, armed with these 5 powerful hacks, you truly can. Remember, every problem solved is a victory, every lesson learned is a treasure, and every step forward is proof of your progress. Keep walking, keep growing, and never stop believing in yourself. And always remember, here at English Achieve, we are learning together, growing together, and becoming stronger every day. Your journey of improvement and mastery is powerful, and it begins with the choices you make right now. Thank you for watching, my friend. This is English Achieve, and I am here to help you grow in English and in life. Stay strong, stay motivated, and I'll see you in the next video.